him, whichever you want to call me. And we're in the second set of the first row of the last box of September. I said 1D, pretty nice. Hope everybody's having a great day. And a pretty good box so far. Looks like so last good old wheat, or excuse me, old copper in here. 61D, 76D, nice and red. There's a nice 72D, nice and red. Hope everybody's being blessed. 66P. That's pretty nice 71S. Still got some luster on it yet. There's a crapper on Dunker. There's 62, looking pretty old. Thought it was a wheat penny. There's 66 in good shape. 76. So let me get here and get into here. I gotta get back and find myself back. These computers are only as faster as the operator, and I'm not too fast, so there I'm at. Get off a top shot. Lots of buttons for a one-eyed guy. That's a true statement too. So hi everyone, welcome back. Alright, let's see what we got going here. Hope to find some wheat here. Not seeing no wheat, but I'm seeing a lot of nice old dates here. It says 75D. What's that one? 76D. 75D. 78, that's 82. 76. Lost 76 is for some reason 84. There's 2023. 21, no fun. 99D, you want to look at that. 16D, you want to look at that. 83D, you want to look at that. 90D, you want to weigh that. 1980, of course, you want to look at the double iverse. 68D, replenishment marks, etc. 73S, nice shape. 73S is the least common, the one that you get for the estimate marks for the 70s. That's 2015, 2018. Trying to talk and think at the same time. It's not always a good thing for this brain of mine. I know you think I knew what I thought. Anyway, so I think that's an 89P. Or 89, I mean, for Canada. Canada. That's the third one from Canada. For some reason, that money just comes down south. Just does. I got some dunkers to get rid of here. Oh, I'm hunting dunkers all along day. There's a bicentennial old man sitting on a log with a plan. What's that? 74. Oh, we got some street coins in here. It's not no sewer coins really like I've seen a lot of times, but got a few dirties just the same. Yep, yeah. 17D, we don't need to see. The boy's got too big a scratch for me. Alright. Look at that one. 60D. What we got here? 70, 97, 95, 2015D, 85D, 12, 3, 2020, 2021. Get rid of these. That's the one I want to keep. These So right there, that comes down, down, down. And it went down, 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 the ring of fire. Alright. 84, 88. Two trashed. 20D. And that's a 64 D. Alright, yo. Set this over here by things to go. The oscilloscope later. Yeah, I did it without spilling. That's not very common for me. I use dump 3 or 4 times before I get them over there. Some days my arms are steadier than others want. It's kind of like my eyes. Some days I can see really good, other days not so much. It's all about like angles. The 81s I don't search. 70S, that's a nice one. 13D, that's a nice one of those. I searched the nice 13Ds for the double die. That's well known. It's very common, but if you find really nice ones in good shape, mint state shape, they can be worth money. It's like I said, it's super common and it's well known, but you know, they're the ones that are really good shape are drying up. So me being the person I am, I learned to collect things that just clear. You know, things that have low survival rate. You really want to try to collect. You know. I remember being amazed at this. I think it was something like Queen Anne II's some type of event meal. Anyway, they had a special cake made up for the event that was it was like 20,000 for the cake to be made or something ridiculous like that. And anyway, a piece of the cake sold at Sotheby's auction for like I want to say it was $25,000 for a stale piece of cake from like 1800s. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. Of all things to collect, a piece of cake, really? I mean, my goodness. Talk about collecting something that the mouse can break in and eat. Oh well, to each his own. I just thought I'd share that with you because I thought it was kind of funny. I've been working on the Copper Railroad all the live long day. I'm trying to move those when they get full stack and try to stay somewhat kind of organized. It does always work for me, but I keep trying to find ways to get faster at this, and I do what I can do. I look at pennies like I've got 2,500 little lottery tickets, a chance of hitting the small jackpot. I'll take that chance and still have my money at the end of gambling. That's kind of nice. You never lose that way. You still have the same money you start with. That's why I like to get kids involved in corn clucking. Get your kids involved in corn clucking and learning what they want to see, and they can find themselves just a little bit of money, and just out there to be found for free. And people just, I can't imagine how many errors have passed through my hands that I missed, or that were worth so much money before I even had education about corns. I mean, education about your hobby is a very important step, folks. It's really very worth investing in the books to get. And I can show you which books to get. I don't get no money from them. I don't have no links for them. I can tell you that my buddy over at Portsmouth Corn Collection, Heeltech area, he's a good guy. He's in the community pretty well known. Daniel is his name. Good man. He's one that put me on these books. So I'll take a second here to show you what I'm talking about, because otherwise my ADD won't never get me back to that subject, and I'll forget it. That's how I am. Sorry to say. All right, so the first one I'm going to talk about is right here. It's by David Bowers. That's the one that I've been recommended to use. Okay, that's going to cost you a little bit of money to get that one. Of course, this is very commonly known that this is the one that you want to have. That edition, that's what you want. This is the good one. It's not cheap, but it will pay for itself. Get to 2026. Yes, it's been out forever. 2026, already out. I'll put that on top of my pennies there. Okay, for Canada, this is the book to get for Canada. This is the one that is the absolute Bible for Canada. It's got everything. This is a great investment. Again, it's not cheap, but it's worth having. Okay, and here's the last one. Another one just recently came out. Well, he's the big daddy himself, Joseph P. Cronin. And if you don't know who he is, Heirs to Die For is the title of it, and that's the cover. This is the one you want to have. It's new. It's not easy to find. These books are going to cost you $2. So don't throw them on the floor like I just did. Sorry about that book. He'll be mad at me now. I won't find that San Francisco VDV never found so far. I keep looking though. I found 8 VDD 1909 VDVs in the wild, but none with S. So, and I bought only one, but it's those special years are worth investing, and because there's not many of them around. So you really want to look at your 60Ds. I look at them really hard. So is my good friend Paul Hampton. Here I can see some copper. I'm just going to pull this out because I know I'm going to be looking at it. Seeing some more junkers here I gotta snatch up. Should anybody come in and say hi yet? No one come in and say hi yet. Well, maybe a little bit later. I want to get a hunt in quick, at least one box before had to take a break, but I got family from town, out of town, and it's a blessing, that they all coming in the fall to come back home to see everybody, and we all get to reconnect, like I said, all the way down to my fourth cousins. My family love's pretty deep. Great uncles and great nephews, and you know, second and third cousins that we all love each other and hug each other and pray. It's a real blessing when you have a family of love. And I hope you all have that. I wish it for you. I pray it for you. And if you need to say sorry to somebody, please get it done. I mean, you can control how soon everybody heals. If you can do something about it, heal somebody. Be the bigger person, swallow your power, and make the first step. Make that phone call that you've been putting off that you shouldn't been for years. Reach out and talk to that person because you don't know. You might not have tomorrow. Everybody that's going to die today has got plans for tomorrow. I guarantee it. I've got plans for tomorrow. I'm not guaranteed. I got plans for days out, but you never know when you're gonna go. So be ready, my friends. Be ready. I wish you all know Jesus, and I pray you all do. And I pray His blood over you, and His blessings over you, and His grace over you. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. And if you need prayer, please let me know. I'll be glad to pray for you or pray with you. I'm your brother. You and I had the same mother, we got the same creator. Hi, Isaac. So what I'm looking for is double dies, repunchment marks, wheat pennies, foreign coins. I also look for BU coins. For instance, like if you get see this 1916, 2016. It's really shiny and there's no scratches on it or anything. That's a kind of BU coin that people are looking for. I look for errors, especially on coins like this. Those are the ones that are going to be worth the most money for you. All right, that and of course your wheat pennies. So right now, I'm gonna show you right here. Here's a bicentennial coin, and so there's errors that there's double thumbs that I don't know what I take. I had a toothpick, but I don't know what I did with it. Well, anyway, right here between the thumbs, there's an extra thumb that comes out, and sometimes you get double down here, and a lot of times you get a die crack that comes off the foot and comes out to the rim. Those are worth money, and then there's also one that comes down off this bootstrap. It comes straight down out of this foot, and it comes all the way down through that feet to the rim. And that one can be worth pretty good money, and it can also get a dry crack here as well. So you're looking for things like that, and sometimes you get a die cut up in the O. So those are just some valuable areas you can look for on that year. So I'm gonna just do this for you. I'm gonna go through a few things that I look for. So here on a 95D, what you're looking for on this side is this Liberty will be so doubled you have to blink because you think you got something in your eyes. It's that doubled. You'll see it on the B for sure. So that's your hot point on the 65 or the 95D and P. You want to look at that B and see if it's doubled. It'll be doubled up and down, and you can't miss it. It looks crazy. So like that's on that particular coin. So those are searched. So on your 2018Ds, what you're looking for is a double ear, and it's going to be the whole ear, and it's going to be way out here. And if you see it, and you see it Because there's going to be sometimes going to be a little double spot here and a little hit on it with a little line, little die crack that. That's not the one you're looking for. That's not worth money. But you catch the right ones and it's worth good money. So there's certain years like 2021D, I don't look at nothing. 2003, there's nothing there for me. Okay, so now we're on this 2015D. The first thing you do is look at your date, and then when you look in your date, you want to look at your does it look like a cat eye? Does it look like it's been smeared and it's spread out and there's extra material? That's a double die, okay? So then you go over to your Liberty, and you want the first thing you want to always look at your Liberty is you want to look at your inside Y and inside T and the inside R and the leg of the R and see if you got double in there. And then the next you can move into the B and see if it's obvious it's there. Sometimes on the E the top doesn't double, but the middle serif and the bottom serif will show. And sometimes you won't see much doubling on the L, but if you're right up against the rim a lot of times on the double dies. So you can see just a hint of a split on this eye. That's the kind of indicators you look that, but more pronounced than that. You're looking for notching, so that's how to identify a double die. And certain years, like in '93, there's nothing to look for on that. But like 14Ds, they're on 14Ds. So this one right here has got just a hair dull. I mean, but this is not the big spread that you're looking for. You want to look at something that looks like it's 3D and it's popping out of the coin at you. But you can see the spreading on top of the two, a little bit spreading on the nose of the four. This is it's a little bit double, but that's more die deterioration doubling is what they call that. So that's not the exact thing you're looking for. Let me get to a coin here that I can find a die arrow for you. Well, I'll tell you what. How about I just show you guys some die dares? How's that sound, buddy? Please hit like and subscribe, and I'll show you guys just a few of Grandpa Tim's nice finds. So, okay, so we're gonna start off with this right here, this 90D. This 90D is supposed to weigh 2.5 grams, and you probably can't see my scale, but it only weighs 2.4 grams. So this is a weight error, is what that one is. So this next error up. Okay, so remember I said look at your O's and look and see if they look like cat's eyes. See how they look like cat's eyes if you turn her sideways? See what I'm seeing? See how it's pointed? It's not just a circle. That shows you it's doubled. That's a double die. That's a FS 101 on that one. You see the double on top of the T. The obvious double thickness on this side of the Y compared to this side. You can see the over thickness on the top of the R. You can see the split in the R foot right there. And if you move over to E, you can just barely see just a little bit notch there. The E is really hard to see on this. The V sometimes doesn't even show it at all. And the L shows a little bit. The I doesn't show it hardly at all. Like I said, mostly it's going to be in the RTY, but that's your identifier for that double die right there. Is the cat eyes and RTY. Okay, so that's one. So now that this is a rare error that many won't know about because it's Canada. You see the doubling? You guys see the doubling? This is not machine doubling, guys. Look at date. See this? This is repunch. Alright? So this is a rare. You're not going to see this very often, but that's a rare double die. But that, like I said, that's for Canada. Alright, so let's go to a BU error from 1964. Okay, so what we see here, guys? Anybody see it? Can you see the double? That's no problem, brother. I tell you what, I'll be glad to teach you whatever I can. Just subscribe and watch me. I'll teach you as I go, and I learned as I went. I'm into at least my second million pennies that I've hunted, if not 3 million. But I'm trying to educate people now as I go, because honestly, this is the best thing you can teach a young person to do, is because they're not gambling. They're investing, and they're just putting a little bit of time and effort and a little bit of knowledge. You can make some serious money. So this is a 64 double die. You can see how it looks 3D. See how it sticks up. Okay, and you see there's a little bit different changes. There's a little notch at the top four, a little notch at the nose, it little notch right there, and the D, the repunch mint mark is really minor one. It's one that's to the east and down, but you can see remnants of the overstrike here, down here is the indicator. I don't have that number, but you can get the that repunch mint mark number from coppercoins.com. My good buddy over there will take good care of you. He's got so many, I think there are over 1,200 pictures. So I wish I knew what I did with my toothpick. It's driving me nuts. I'll use this. This will just do it. Okay, so right here is a notch. You can see how it just bounces right there. So that notch is on this side, and you can see how it's kind of shadowed there. So that shows you that it's extra wide, and there's a notch there. And you come over here, you don't see it on top. You see it out to the tip where it's just double there. Same thing with the T. The top of it, the double is slid this way, so it's like stacked on top of each other, and then that's why your ends will get a little slank to them. And then, like I say, you look inside the R, you can see that, and then you look at the thickness of the kick out of the leg. You see the extra flare to the leg compared to the E, but you do see how the E stands out on that leg too. But there's a flare there. So then you come to this E, and you look for that double on this right here and here. Not so much up here, but then again, like I mentioned, on the inside of the B. And now when you look at your eye is kind of got a slant right here on the top, but you also see where it's pushed to this way. So the double is in parallel is where it's doubled. So let's go up to and look at you go up and look at your N. You can see the overrun on the underside of the N. Okay, so let's go up and look at the G. So a G is really really key thing. A lot of times for lighting purposes, people turn the G upside down. So I'm gonna do that just for you, so you can see what I'm talking about. So you can see the overrun points. Okay, you can see how it overruns on the inner serif, and you see the overrun point here. See the extra six, there's extra middle there, and there's extra middle inside there. That's how you can see it. So you see the O. See how it's cat-eyed. It's not round. It's cat-eyed. The D's got a fat butt. He's got a fat gut. Okay. See the T. That one's hard to see. Again, here's like I said, you're looking at the bottom of the E's, and at the bottom of the double. You see how this inside of the double is all filled in right here? That's really, you can see how it's notched here. It overnotched because a piece of the die broke off right there. So that's die deterioration. So that's important to know. You know, a lot of times the double die is spread to the outside, and it will look like the letter is stretched. So you'll see the doubling on both tops and bottoms. So see the kick. Again, we're talking about the flare of the R. This one has had some contact wear to it, so it's hard to see. But you can see right here where it's doubled, and you can see his foot's doubled, and then this is kind of hit down. But The U is double as well. So you see the S, how you got the extra point here, and you can see the separation. But it's clearly extra metal. It's got to be extra metal. It can't just be a line. Okay. So see in the top of the T, it's got extra metal on top of the T. It does stuff down, but that's your double one. Okay. So you go back down to you're looking at your 64 upside down, and you can see that it just looks 3D. See what I mean? So when you look at it upside down, sometimes it makes it a lot easier for you to see. I know it's reversing. I can't help that with this camera. Okay, so that's one double die. Let's look at a more recent double die, a 1974S. Okay, so you see the double stamping on form. Can see the clear spread where the first punch was very light strike, and then he punched over the top and raised the middle, and you can see it in the S. You can see that how it's stacked. It almost looks tripled, but it's not. It's just doubled. So you go. What did I say? What's the rule? You look at the Y, R, and T. So you see this side. This side is thicker than this side on this one. As you still, the bar is going to slide to the side, and the R is going to spread right there and right there and right there. And E is, you just barely see a little notch right there. And you can see the overrun here. You see the overrun inside of the B, and on the outside here, you can see the overstrike here inside. That's this from the die bouncing when it hit the coin. But that you can see that if you have two of them too, that you can see that's a strong indicate that you got a strong double die. You can see the scratch come down from when they've been working on that. So, but you can definitely see the split in the eye for sure. Now let's go to the L. Look at the L. So the L you don't really see much of than the overstrike of the first strike, which is that's just die hop. It came down and it bounced. That's all that is. But the rest of it's doubled. So you can see how it's fat up here, and comes down and it gets crowded. But you can see that the notch in the overrun right there real good. It came through on the overrun better than it did on the copper. But you can see how the G is all filled in right here, and it's stacked on top here. And then the curl on the point is a little extra thick. The O doesn't show as much of the cat eye on this particular die like the other one too. But again, you still the filled in of the W. That's not always double die. Sometimes it's just your letters has been deteriorated. But you can see the overlap here of the U real well. At least I can. Let me see if I can make it. Up. Red round. Try to get the light to shine. I got two sides lights that these things work awesome, but the doggone wire broke, and I've been waiting for replacements forever, and the people won't send me the dang wire. I already paid for it. That's what happens when you deal with China. But anyway, that's your double die right there. Let's move on to another something kind of cool. So here's another something thing that I'm looking for. So this right here is what they call post point punch. Okay. So this is for the state of Michigan, and they have one for all 50 states. Some are all stamped on 76. Some are stamped earlier. I got them stamped on wheat pennies, actually, 1966 and all. But you gotta watch because some of these are stamped on double dies. The 76 has a double die, and so you want to look for spreading in your letters. Make sure you don't have one. But anyway, I keep all these, and they range in value. Roughly, you're looking for a couple bucks up to max of 10. You know, it depends on the state and the mint mark and, you know, the strike. So you can see this one's out of color a little bit, you know, so it's got a little bit of air. But, you know, things like that add value or take away value. It's whatever people are looking for is what I'm looking for. So here's again another 64 double die. Same markers. I'm just gonna run over it real quick. You can see it as it running on by. You can see where the doubling is. Top of the S, like I said, top of the T, nose of the 4, nose of the 6, the end of the 9, the top of the 1, then the R and the T and the Y. Then you look at the I, and then you try and look at the L. L is tough to see a lot of times. The best marker will be down on its foot. Your B doesn't always show on this one. Like I said, on the E's, this you're going to see just a little bit there and there, and right here and there. Anyway, so that's that one. So let's go up to one a little bit older. Let's do this one. Okay, so now you're starting to run into some money. Okay, this is what you call a 68 double die. All right, so you can clearly see the lit point markers right here where there's two different stamps. You can see the overrun on S. That's repunch S. All right, you see inside of the eights closed down looks like an I, and this one looks like, who knows, like a hot air balloon, but you know, it's different than round. You can see how the 9 looks like it wedges and gets fat and then sucks on it back in on itself and curls in back in on itself. That's doubled. You can see how the 1 twists. You can see there's a little notch right there, a little overrun on the tip. A lot of times you're going to get that slant to the top. A lot of times it's either going to go that way or it's going to go the other way. You can see a little double scratch here. That's for when they weigh. A lot of times you see the double underneath the chins in some of these double dies. But you always want to look up at your S. Okay, so you can see the overrun is here. It's double up and away. So this is double this way, and then you can see it's double on mainly only on this side, and then on the inside there, there's extra. You can see up here where there's extra metal, so it's doubled up and away, like I said. So up, I'm trying to move it onto my screen. So it does have a little bit of ring clip, but you can see with the thickness here. And you can see how really closed in the double is. That you can really see the doubling in the doubling in it, other than it didn't point out on your doubles points. But you can see on the O how it's closed down to like a pill shape. And see how the G is, how much busyness is right here on the Ceres. That's what you're looking for. You can see the doubling on the inside of the top of the G, but there's a little bit of patina on there, a little double you see in the bottom of the end, right in there, and then the top. You come back down, see the slant, see the overrun, like I said, see that slant and the overrun. So that shows you that's a double die. Is this helping at all? Give me a like if this is helping. I got a couple more I show, and then we're gonna get back to hunting. Okay, so what's this one? This one, what? Anybody tell me what this one is? Anybody know what this is? This is a grease strike, guys. Okay, see how much grease they had in their dies? You barely can even read Liberty and God. You can read pretty good, and Trust is okay, but look at this date. The 6 is almost completely gone. The 9 is almost completely gone, and I mean that's a great grease strike. So just to give you an idea, with a grease strike, you could get as much as $20 for a nice one. It depends on what year it is, how bad it is, but that's something to not let go by. That's money right there in your pocket, and most people miss this stuff. Okay, so that's just one I wanted to show. It's not a common one all the time, but so The older you get, the better it gets. So you see the difference on that D right down here, how it's spread apart and looks like a triangle. That shows you that's a repunchment mark. Okay, it's got split points up here on the tip right here, and it's got fat on here, so it's down and out is what the doubling is. And there's so many different ones. You got to find which one is. But then you want to look for double dies on your 71s because the 71 double die is worth money. So the first thing I'm going to show you right here is a great marker. See that? See that notch here right there on that T? That's a great marker. Now, if we get better markers or more markers here, you see it on the S. So we got a good chance this is a double die. Not so much on a W or the God we or the N. A little bit on the top on the inside. You can see where it actually made a shine hit on the second rim. Compared to the first one, same right there. It's just very minor. But then you come on down, you want to look at your RTY again. So again, you want to look and see what, if these are the same width. A lot of times, the one on the left is more commonly double than the one on the right. This one is double to the right. So because it's the whole dive is doubled this way. Okay, that's why it's up close to the ribbon on the other side. So you can see the split in the T right here again, and how it's just the top of or the end of it. It's like that. It's just like two plates sitting on top. The one just slid just a little bit forward, and the same thing with the R, the foot, just like the foot slids a little bit forward in the snow, and that's not machine doubling. This is the double die. That's how you can tell you want to double check that G should be a little bit more pronounced than it is, but anyway, those are not easy to find. So here's another here's one that you really truly want to find, which you just don't find. And you see why I found this one? Check out why I found this one, guys. See how dirty that is? This is a wide AM, okay? Anybody know what year this is for being a wide AM? Anybody? Okay, so this is the rare one. This is a 2000 wide AM. Alright? That's the hard one to find. But you see how bad shape it is. That's why it's been missed so many times. But you gotta look. You gotta look. So you're looking at the thickness right here between the A and the M. They're not touching at all. They're wide apart. Another thing you're looking at, as Daniel will tell you from Portsmouth coins, you're looking the thickness between here and here. See how these are the same thickness? That tells you got the YM, okay? So that tells you, because the other one's this one's gonna be less than this one on this side for the regular strike. And what is as Daniel said, it's the proof strike for the year 1979 that was misused. So you're looking at this FG. You're looking at how close it is to the building, and you can see it's got a serif. It's shaped like a point, so like a U-turn point, and it's got a point on the serif, and it's got a little kickstand on the foot. See how it sticks down here? I call it kickstand, but it's called a serif, is what it is. But then it comes up, and then at the end there's another one that goes this way. Okay, it's also a little bit hidden and spread out and doubled from deterioration. But that's the YAM for 2020. Now, it's not in good shape. The better shape you get it in, the more money it's worth. But it's definitely worth pulling out a change. Okay, so here's another one. This one, this is a really easy one to see because this one is another number, FS 101 or FS 101 double die. Okay, you see that? See how it's a cat eye? See how double thick it is? It's not hard to look at that and tell. I mean, compared to other legs, you can see where the U spreads up over itself. Same thing with the S. And all your devices, you can see double on them. See how it thins less, like I said, on God and not so much on in, except for the part the ends, the top and end, Bob. Not so much on the I, but then you get down to the Liberty, and look how strong it is on the RTUI. Not so much over here, but this is the I can't say that. Sorry, I get studied. FS 101. So that's a good money coin. All right, so let's take a look at this one. Okay, this is 1990. Okay, what were we looking for in 1990? Anybody know? Other than Spockhead die cracks and die chips and things like that, and strike throughs, and you want to look for all those things on all your coins because it could be on anything. So what's on the 90 is a double die obverse. So where are your markers when you want to look for a double die or obverse? First place you want to start looking at, especially when you look for the double die obverse on the 83s, is at this U. You want to make sure the extra metal over on the U. This one's not so pronounced, but it is on the 83 though. This double die is more, you'll see where I show the marker is. That's not your marker, but you don't really look at that here. You can see some hard dyed scratch here. What you're looking at is E pluribus unum. You're looking, I'll put the whole thing on the screen so you can see it if I get it centered. Okay, that's pretty centered. So you're looking at your dots. You want to make sure they don't look like they're perfectly round. They gotta look like they're kind of oval. Okay, you always want to see the spreading on the leg. You see how it's spread on both sides of the leg. Okay, so this is it's build up. It's double punched. It's been hit twice. You can really see it right here on the B, on the U, and on S. But you see how the dot is doubled down. And a lot of times the of is not even there. It's scratched all the way off. So you go down, you look at your foot of your A's. You're looking right here, the doubling of the foot of the serif right there, the foot of the serif right there, and on the inside of your C. Those are some of the markers there. Other markers on double dies on obverse are these columns. You have a real build up a mill right there, and also over here, this is going to be a real thick edge and the real strong details on all these brick lines. But anyway, so that's not really commonly sought after, but it's another one. That's another 64. That's the repunch mint mark. And again, it's got the doubling. You can see the inside of the D and the outside of the D, so it's easy to see the double on that repunch mark. And you can see where the first 6 was struck a little north and to the west, and the second one that was over the top of it was on top of it and further to the east, and that's where the more of the metal shows on top of the nose. Right, you can see where the nose caved in, and there's just a gap right there. Okay, let's move it over. You can see the angles to the tops of the ones. You see your R, T, and Y. And a lot of people do this. They purposely damage ones that aren't perfect, so they grade other ones to get the grade and keep other people from getting their coins graded. But it really ticks me off because it's good error, and that little hit like that brings it down. It's a shame that you ruined some collectible for someone else because you don't want to hoard it. You can see the overrun, the doubling right here in those is G. The inside has how it's back down, like I said, like a back tire, as opposed to a O. The D's is closed in at the top a little bit, closed in down here. You can see in the inside of the W and the outside both. This one has more than most on top, but you can still always clearly see it on the inside serif and on the bottom foot. And of course that S is a dead giveaway, and so is the T and U. I mean those are dead giveaways. That's the double die. But anyway, so let's see what the last one I'm going to show you. All right. So this is 1972, and let me tell you, guys, there is so much money to be made in 1972. You can see the doubling. You see the re-punch minute mark. See the double two. See the double seven. The double 9 the double one. Anyway, some of these are worth real big money. You can see the double U, the double S, double T. You see the bottom of the R is doubled right there. See the T is like slanted on both ends. Look, it looks like lumber stack. So this one's got a strong D marker here. You see the split on the D right there, the stamp. I mean, that one's a really clear one as far as marker is on this one, and on the end too. So a lot of times, if you don't get these early enough, you won't be able to see this doubling because the wear, the chrome wrapper hits the same spot, and you lose a lot of these. So the survival rate is not as good on these double dies in the 70s, but you can see doubling on every single letter, one way or another. So this is another one that has the thicker one on this side, but see, somebody hit it again. They put a couple hits on each one of them just to lower the value. And why do that? I mean, it's senseless. It's still worth money to me. I'll put out which one of that is one. That one's that I gotta keep that one separate because it's got the wrong weight. That's not something that I usually sit aside unless I got the wrong weight. So I hope that helped you a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and get back in the corn hut now. I was going to say that for the end, but we did it now. How's that? we could change stuff on the fly. Anybody else got any questions? Don't be afraid to ask. I don't bite. My name's Tim, Crappie Tim, or Grandpa Tim, and all I'm here to do is try to help you people learn, and learn myself and if I'm wrong, somebody corrects me and I learn, I learn by trial and error, I mean? I've had a lot of trials and tribulations in my life and trying to get through them, The strokes makes it really hard to talk, but that's why I'm talking right now. Y'all is my therapy. I appreciate your time when you do come in and you do talk to me, and I really, really appreciate when you hit the like button. I know it's not a big thing, and I don't always do it myself, but it does really help people, that are trying to grow and get their stuff seen. And with me, I do three different things. I hunt pennies. I do prayer sessions. And I'm also a retired pro fisherman, and I'm getting real close to where I'm getting my kayaks ready to go. I got 2 kayaks just recently. I'm currently getting to the point I'm trying to get all 3 of them to have 3 modes of moderation to it. I mean, all went through ways to use motors instead of me. And not to mention still have a pedal drive and paddle drive. I got a fin drive and I got a propeller drive. I'm gonna get some special outrigger for added balance because I'm going to be going out in deep ocean waters and I don't want to tip over the shark because I'm big and tasty, guys. I'm big and tasty. I've had more than many a fish bite me while I was trying to handle them. Like I said, I'm evidently too tasty to go in the ocean without protection. But I'm going to be the idiot out there that's got hooked into a 500-pound marlin and gets towed 500 miles or 17 miles out to the ocean. That was funny. And there's a guy on YouTube got towed all the way out to 17 miles out from where he was fishing, where he hooked into the blue marmalade, and it weighed over 500 pounds. He called his buddies on a boat, and they came out and rescued him. Pulled him and his yak into the boat, and then the fish did a jump right with, I mean, they couldn't been 10 foot from the boat, and they said, yeah, we're going to call that a catch, you know. It's not a catch unless you get into the boat officially. You know, they're kind of funny about stuff like that, you know. That's all. Big bill sports fishing is a trip, you know. It's a gimmick, you know. I mean, there's a lot of money to be made there, and you know, there's a lot of money to be made in guiding, you know. And I'll probably end up being an auction guide if I could talk my wife into moving to Florida. But I'll be lucky if I can get it to get to Tennessee. So I'll try and guide in Tennessee by my old buddies, Caps and Coleman, and all the guys. Jackie Van Clee, he's a good man too. Yes, sir. Got some good fishing buddies all through the. I call it the east, but they call it the south. They southerners down there. Now when I come down, I'm gonna stay, so that's gonna change me from a Yankee to a damn Yankee, because I stayed. At least that's what I've been told. But yeah, I want to get right down to my old Real Foot Lake and tear up the bluegill and crappie for the rest of my days, folks. I do like to eat me some fish. I really used to like to compete in crappie tournaments. I did so in 10 different states. That's got a ring of death. I probably shouldn't even look at it, but I will. But since I can't drive anymore, you know, I'm just at the age of retirement. It's hard to find people that have time to go fishing that can drive and, you know, are in good enough health or haven't died off on me. And unfortunately, I'm going to more funerals than the fishing holes lately, and that's kind of a drag on life. But you know, that's dying's part of life, guys. So, like I say, you know, know our Lord and save us, Jesus Christ, and all will be fine. Give more than you take, and you'll be a good man. Those are all junkers that didn't need. Okay, that's gonna wrap it up for. We didn't find any wheat pennies in that 10 rolls. Just had a. Oh, I gotta wait. That's the one I gotta. That is one we put that over here, so don't lose it. Just has the one nice bicentennial. Let's see if we got it. Now on the 2023s, you're looking for the extra V right here. If you can find that coin, now you're talking about me about $90. There is a double die on the 2023. That's not the one. On the 2023, I look for die clashes and look for stamp throughs and things like that, and there was none. So that's done. So this episode is done, guys. I sure appreciate you coming in. Please leave me a like, and I'll see you in the next episode. I'll be right back with the next 10 rolls. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon. All right. Take care, guys. Much love. Bye.